friends, good morning. As you jump on, you guys let me know where you're watching from. I always like to know. And I will tell you a little bit about myself. I'm JPO. I'm the owner and artist of the Purple Posy out of West Texas. I'm a content creator for Dixie Belle Paint Company, and I'm a business coach and a creative mentor for my private membership group, Painting Over Borders. It's all about me. Today, I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to decoupage the new rice paper on this panel, and then I'm going to show you what I'm doing on the sides. And this probably won't be dry enough for me to go ahead and start grunging. So, and then also I'm going to do some of the mosaic stencils. Did I grab those? I sure didn't. Some of the mosaic stencils on the drawer here to match. So that's what we're doing. All right. So I intentionally, this wasn't an I intentionally off-centered the tiles. I wanted it to be different. I didn't want it to be very uniform. On top of the fact that, you know, you kind of have to. It's not an equal, like 2 tiles or 3 tiles across. So I did that on purpose. I did it on purpose. What I'm going to use as my decoupage medium today is clear coat flat, and just like a cheapo chip brush. And I'm using clear coat gloss because flat, because I don't want it to be, I don't know what I'm going to do on the to seal it just yet, but I don't want it to show like a glossy spot in case I want to go with a clear coat flat. So that's why I'm choosing that. So what I did to, I went ahead and cut this portion out, and I'm trying to decide which way I want it to go. So over here it's like this. So I'm thinking maybe this way over here, because I don't want it to be matchy-matchy. And I went ahead and cut off the edges there. But we're gonna have to off-center it just a little bit. And I'm gonna show y'all how I was able to get the lines and everything cut out just perfectly. So what I did was I took my little putty knife here. It's a beveled, 2-inch beveled putty knife. It's stiff, you can't bend it. I got the rice paper on here lined up at the top, and then I kind of went around with my fingers and kind of creased it in a little bit, you know, being very careful not to shift it around. But what I did was I went in and I just kind of shoved it into the corners there, the cracks. I'm not cutting the rice paper. I'm just kind of making a line that makes it easier for me to cut with my scissors. That's what I'm doing here. Now, if it's not perfect, I'm not going to worry about it because it's going to be very grunged on the inserts here. So it might have a little bit of paint over it, a little bit of wax, you know, whatever I decide to go with. So I'm not worried if it's not super duper straight, or if I accidentally tear it, or whatever. I'm just trying to get, you can see there my creases, maybe. You can see there my creases. All right, so this is the fun part, cutting it out. And I'm probably gonna have to set it down. Let me come over here. I'm gonna have to set it down to cut it because I don't wanna mess it up. There we go. Okay, so here's what we have. It's gonna fit in there like so. I'm just kind of, looks pretty good. And these little inserts, they actually kind of bow in a little bit so I can shove, which is what I had to do over here. If I had a little piece that stuck out, I just kind of shoved it in with my my putty knife there. All right, so my decoupage medium, like I said, is gonna be clear coat flat. What you're gonna need to do, and you need to do this with all of your top coats. It doesn't matter which one that you're using. You need to shake it up really, really well, especially if it's been sitting for a while, which I put this decoupage paper on Wednesday or Thursday last week. So it's been sitting for a hot minute. You don't want to shake them. Now shaking them, I mean, it does mix them up pretty good, but you get bubbles, and there's some stuff that just really settles at the bottom that you need to scrape out. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about. Do you see that kind of, there's a good shot. You see that little gunky spot right there? That's the stuff that settles at the bottom. So you got to scrape that up and get it in there real good. Get it mixed in real good. Okay? So that's good there. Let me get this out. Just wipe it off real quick. Okay. All right, then I'm gonna take this is just a 2-inch chip brush. These are on the Dixie Belle website. They're like $1.50. They're super cheap. I just want to use it and then toss it in trash because it's one less brush I have to clean because I'm lazy, right? You can use any brush you want. When I top coat, I use my good synthetic brushes. But this is just decoupaging. All right, let me get y'all in where you can see. Okay, first things first, we're gonna go ahead and put this clear coat flat on here. You don't need a ton of it, but you need to have good coverage. That way that rice paper sticks to it. You don't wanna have a spot that doesn't have anything for it to stick to. So I'm just getting a good amount on here. The other cool thing about the rice paper, when you're decoupaging, if you use gator hide as your decoupage medium, and you've got a paper that has kind of a clear spots in there, gator hide will actually make those clearish spots very clear. If you use just a regular one of the regular clear coats, you see the white portion still. It's very muted. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're using the decoupage paper. All right, so I'm just gonna stick this on here at the top. Okay, I hope you guys can see. Stick it on there as best as I can. And then I'll smooth it out with my hand. Like so. Look at how easy is that? I'm not a big decoupage person. I'm really not. I very rarely decoupage, like hardly ever. But these are super easy to use. Boom. You want to do it? Do it. I dare you. I dare you. I double dog dare you. They're so easy to use. All right, so now what I'm doing is I'm going in these corners, or the sides here that's got just a little bit extra, and I'm just pushing them in, but I'm not pushing too hard with my putty knife, and I'm coming up as I go so I don't rip it. With this, I mean, you could probably rip it with a sharp tool. You can't rip it with your fingernails. You can't put your fingernail through it. That is the cool thing about it. Let me smooth out these bubbles. Okay, I'm gonna do the same over here. Let me get in the way for a second. And I'm using the beveled side. I'm using the beveled side, I'm not using the sharp side. And I'll bring you guys in close so you can see. There's a spot right there I need to tuck in. There's a spot there that's not tucking in. I'll just have to get my Stanley knife when it dries and just, well, let me show you. So you guys see? See how cool that looks? I don't want to take you off the stand because my phone is large and I need to get a new holder, but now it looks very, while it's wet, you can see a little bit of the muscadine wine showing through, which is the color, the base color over here. As it dries, that's going to go away and it will look like this. Okay, but just keep in mind, like I said, I've got one right here actually. So this type of paper, if you use it and you use gator hide, this white will pretty much go away. I mean, you'll still see a little bit of it. It'll pretty much go away, but if you don't, you use like a clear coat flat gloss or satin, it will still be that white. You'll still see a lot of that white. So just keep that in mind when you're decoupaging. All right, I'm gonna just toss this to the side because I don't want to clean it. If you guys have a question, Susan, no, I'm not gonna top coat it right now, but I will eventually. I'm gonna let it dry, and then I'm gonna come in with some waxes or voodoo gel stain. I'm not real sure what I'm gonna use, but I'm gonna grunge it out. So you can get this, there's a link there for you guys that I pinned. It will take you directly to this paper right here, the colorful tiles. You can get on that website and find a local retailer. And if you don't have one near you, you can order from that link and it helps my small business. All right, we're gonna go to the side now and do some blending. And what I decided to do, bring it to me. Okay, I'll bring it over to you. All right, so this has got a base coat of aubergine on there. Remember, the front has just a little bit of the aubergine, and I mixed in peony. So the sides, I'm kind of doing the same. I have no idea what I'm going to do the top just yet. So we're just going to do a little blending. Show you guys a little blending today. All right, I've already used this brush, but typically before I paint, I would just wet my brush just a little bit. I am going to wet the surface just a little bit. This continuous is really, really continuous. The fine mist water bottles, those are also available on the Dixie Belle website. They're great and a must-have when you are blending. All right, so I'm gonna get another coat on here, and as I work, I'm gonna work pretty fast because in order to blend your paint, the paint's gotta be wet. So I'm just getting a thin, kind of a thinnish coat on here. This light is blinding me. I've got to turn it off. I am all tangled up in wires. And then I'll fix this for you guys. You have to have water. Water is your friend when you're blending. So as I'm painting, I'm gonna go ahead and spray with water and keep my paint really, really wet. And then we're gonna blend in some peony. I should have showed y'all the other side first so you can see where we're going. And cobalt blue. So how was everybody's weekend? Did anybody do anything super cool and fun? I did not. I worked. It's the life of a small business owner. You're like constantly working. Pretty much all I did. All right. Now, since this covered really well on the initial, base coat, I don't need a whole lot of paint. This is really, it's almost like a wash because I've got it watered down so well, or so good. All right, so I got it all on there. Spray it down real good. Then we're gonna bring in peony. Has anybody used this color? It's absolutely gorgeous. All right, I'm just gonna streak in some peony in random spots because this is how I do it. Don't cringe. Don't cringe. It's gonna look better, I promise. Then I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna get just a tiny bit of aubergine back on my brush. Feather it out a little bit and just blend it in. You can leave it streaky like this. You can feather it out. You can put, you could put a glob like this all the way up. It doesn't matter. It just really depends on the look that you're going for. The other side is very subtle. You have to look really close to see the peony in there. It's just, it gives it a little bit of depth, a little bit of interest. Does that make sense? This in real good. I've got some drippies here. I gotta stand back. I am all tangled up, you guys. This is awful. There's so many cords here. I'm gonna go back in with a little bit more aubergine. If you don't feel comfortable spraying your piece with water as you're blending, you can always spray your brush. It makes no difference. So I want that to be pretty soft. I don't want it to be super streaky. I feel my brush dragging, so I need to spritz. Now it's to the point, and I don't know how it looks on camera, I'll turn around here in a second, where you almost cannot see the peony unless you get up close. Can y'all see that on camera? You can't even see it on camera. See, that's how subtle it is. Now I'm gonna bring in some cobalt. I didn't plan very well. I'm going pretty fast. Maybe 20 minutes in. All right, cobalt blue. Very bright blue. But I love blues and pinks mixed in with orange, not orange, purple. Because purple is like red and blue, you know? And so these are variations of red and blue. So it looks pretty cool in my eyes. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm just kind of streaking it in. And if it gets to where I've got too much cobalt, I can't see the peony anymore, you just go back and you just keep doing it over and over again until you get your right blend. There's no right or wrong way of doing it, and you're not going to mess anything up. All right, so I'm putting a little bit more of the aubergine and coming back in. First I go vertically. This is a flat mini, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that. If you watch me paint all the time, you probably already knew that. But if you're new, this is a flat mini. These are my go-to brushes. They're super comfortable to hold. They hold a lot of paint pretty well. Pretty much all I ever use. I've got like a zillion brushes over there and I always grab these. All right, so now I'm going horizontally to get rid of the straight lines. And then I'm just going to go over it once more. And let me take a look. So I can barely see any of the peony, so let me add just a little bit more. Just a tiny bit. I don't want it to be super, super bright. But I do want to be able to see it a little bit. Is there anybody here that's new to Dixie Belle? Are you new to Dixie Belle? Watching and learning. Good. Good, good, good. If you're new, welcome. Welcome to Dixie Belle's page. And if you're new to blending, don't overthink it. Just practice. It takes a lot of practice. And some people, it actually comes by more natural than the others, and you might surprise yourself. Don't let blending intimidate you. I'm gonna try to bring you guys in and see. You're new? Yay! Welcome, Ems. Sorry, I got a new phone, and it's a very all right, so try to get that light. Can you see? You can see just a little bit of that peony right there. So it's not super noticeable. You can see there just a little bit of the cobalt. You've recently done some blending and loved it. You've not tried Dixie Belle, but you've been watching for a while. Girl, try it. Try it. Get on that link. Take a look around. There's so many beautiful colors. There's so many. Dixie Belle has everything that you need to start a project and then finish a project, from prep to sealing. They really have everything that you need. The cleaner is amazing. That's what I used to prep this piece, was White Lightning, which is their TSP type cleaner. Just mix it with water. I keep it in a water bottle and use a finishing pad to scrub it real well. Rinse with vinegar, water, and then you're all good to go. Let's take a look at the front. Let's see where it's at. Sorry I'm moving you guys around so much. Okay, so you can see, if you were here in the beginning, you can see how this is starting to dry and it doesn't look so wet and discolored anymore. But you can see how this is starting to dry and it's not as opaque as this is, and that's what it looks like when it's dry. So here's where we're going. I've misplaced my there's a dog in here, she's my supervisor. I've misplaced my mosaic. So the mosaic silkscreen stencils I'm going to use on the drawers, just to kind of like in a corner here, maybe one here. There's actually a woodgie bin that I have that might be kind of cool just for some depth, just like a little surprise. So this up here is Florida orange, Colonel mustard, and in the navy, I think. I can't remember. I did it off camera because I didn't like where it was after I was live. All right, so look how cute these little jars are. This is the gilding wax. These are oil-based waxes. So this is gonna be your last step on your piece because you can't top coat it over oil. All right, and this is the copper. Beautiful color. Let's try it out over here. See how it looks. Bring all over here. This is looking fabulous. Thank you, girl. All right, can you guys see? Crackle? I want to do crackle. I just did crackle not that long ago. All right, this is a French tip brush. This is also a Dixie Belle brush. I'm putting a little bit on here, not too much. Okay, and we're gonna come in. It's very shimmery. It's very shimmery. I'm not sure I like that so much. Yeah, I'm not sure I like that. But what I can do, since I've got it on here and I can't really, it's on paper, I can't really remove it very well. We'll go ahead and put it on here, and then what I can do is come back with the gilding wax in brown or black and go over it and dirty it up some more that way. That's an option. So the way gilding waxes work, like I said, they're oil-based and they're always the last thing that you do because you cannot top coat over them. It won't stick because the Dixie Belle top coats are water-based. I'm trying not to get too much on the actual door. If you guys can see. Nope, sure can't. Yeah, it's more shimmery than I thought it would be too. Yeah, but that's okay. So, like I said, it's an easy fix though. I can come in with the gilding wax in brown or black and darken it up just a little bit. It's not a big deal. I did want to see with the copper because I was thinking copper as well. So because of the muscadine wine. Now I'm going over this paper and I'm not being gentle and it's not ripping. It's not ripping at all, which is a good sign there. So yeah, let me go ahead and grab the let's grab the brown. Let's grab the brown. Sorry, it's bronze. I'm gonna grab black. I can't use Best Stain because that's water-based, right? So we're gonna go in with black. Very rich. These are so highly pigmented, you don't need a whole lot of them, or a whole lot of it. I'm just gonna use the same brush and just get a little bit on here. Oh, it's sliding off. Not that much. Not a whole lot. It is pretty against the muscadine wine, it really is. And let's just kind of get some up in the corners here. Ooh, that's pretty. I'll have to bring you guys in. It's a nice little addition to that copper. It's really pretty. Now I didn't let the copper dry, which it takes about 4 hours to dry, but it's fine. It's not a big deal. But you will see on the label where it says to, you apply it, let it dry for 4 hours, and then buff after 12. And what that means is if you want to layer, So this is kind of blending in just a tiny bit because it's still wet, again, which is fine. But if you want to layer, you don't want it to blend, you wait the 4 hours, and then you can put another layer on there, or you can put more of the same color, whatever. That's what that means. You let it dry for 4 hours, and then after 12, you do your buffing. You just take a soft cloth or whatever to buff it. I think I like that, actually. I think I like the copper with the black over it. It's a very muddy, which is really what I'm wanting. Just a little bit right here. My plan was next week to grunge with you guys and figure out what we want to do on the top. And then maybe do the top. Maybe I'll bring the cabinet down and we'll do it from the top. That's beautiful. Let me bring you guys in and then I'll let y'all go. And we'll do some more grunging next week, and we'll add the stencils. We'll do some grunging. Maybe we can get to the top. I don't know. Let me bring it off again. Gosh, I've got to get a new holder. Okay. Bring the light in. Isn't that beautiful? So you can see that copper just poking through a little bit with the black. I'll bring it in super close. But look at that paper. Like I was not gentle, and it did not rip. It didn't rip because the French tip brushes are natural bristle brushes, so they're a little bit rough. But that paper did not rip. And we'll stand back. I'm loving that look. Loving it. Okay, so that's all, folks. If you have any questions at all whatsoever, please drop them in the comments. Use that link there. The link will take you directly to this rice paper, the bells and whistles, colorful tiles. I think it's $12.95. You get like 3, and they're very large. They're so fun to use. Okay, well, thanks everybody for joining. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video and want to see more, be sure to subscribe and click that bell icon to get notified when new videos are posted. Also, I typically put out a blog to show how I finish these pieces of furniture. If you head on over to my website, thepurpleposy.com, and sign up for the mailing list, you'll get notified when those blogs are posted as well.